Hi, everybody. It's me, Rani, and I think today is feed number 10, I think. Okay, so I will straight here from the beginning give any of you a little clause before I start. Today's feed is going to be of a sacred and a spiritual nature. So if you're not down with that, you do have the option at this point, yeah? Or any point for that matter, but I just want to let you know straightforward and upfront that today's feed is going to be of a spiritual nature. That said, here's what this feed is going to be about. This feed is going to be about why I even started doing what I'm doing. And I'm going to try to make it as concise as possible because I hate wasting people's time. So here goes. Remember that one feed that I did where if your heart is beating and you're really, really scared, you know that's probably the thing you need to do. Okay, well today, this is that thing for me. I've been trying to avoid it for a little bit of time. It's come down to this, and we're here today. Why I'm doing what I'm doing. So in the beginning, it started off because I do a health and wellness product called Thrive, and I use it for myself, and I have been using it for myself for a little bit. And because of the benefits, and I love it, I decided to become one of its promoters and started as a side business for myself. So one of the trainers that we had challenged us to go onto social media and do what was originally called, for me and for those of you who started watching, a 14-day challenge. Yeah, and that kind of has morphed into something else, and this is what today's feed is about. So the 14-day challenge was excellent for me. But here's what happened. Because I was open to suggestions and open to learning, I put myself way out of my box. And as any of you, I know this, who know me and love me, you all know this would be the last thing that I would carve out to do for myself, period. And till this day, it still is the last thing. But because I was open to learning and to trying, Heavenly Father took advantage of that moment. The 14-day challenge, as I was going on, a lot of the comments that I was getting and being shared with me were just really different. And so I started sharing, bouncing them off of Lehua and taking some of them to the Lord in my prayer and stuff. And it was moving in sort of kind of not a business way that I was expecting that 14-day challenge to move. It started morphing into like almost a spiritual thing. By the time the 14th day came, I already knew who was behind it. And even though the whole Thrive was introduced to me by a really good friend, Heavenly Father was a huge push in that awkward place for me. Okay, that said, I knew this much. At the end of the 14 days, I knew, okay, if nobody's going to say, request that I continue doing these feeds or anything, I'm so good with that. I'm so really done. But I slowed it down a little bit, and he says to me, well, wait, because what if one person asks you? And I said, well, what if one person asks you? What do you want me to do? And he goes, I want you to go. As long as one person asks you, you keep going. Now you need to find out when you're going to do it and how many times. So as you all know, one person, it was a few, not just one, but a few people requested me to keep going in these feeds. And so I have committed to doing that. And I've made this commitment of doing 2 live feeds a week, one Wednesday afternoons and one Sunday afternoons. That said, these feeds they're a mixture of a lot of stuff, but here's the honest part, people. The only reason why I'm doing them at all, sorry, it makes me really emotional. The only reason why I'm doing them at all is because for some reason, Heavenly Father wants me to do them. And I'm like the biggest dork on the planet. Seriously, I'm like the biggest dork, and I don't mind. I don't mind being a dork and all. And yeah, I'm going to talk about her too, because she's amazing. But he doesn't want me to stop. And the only confirmations I have, because he doesn't want me to stop, is I get messages all the time from those of you out there in what my sister calls Facebook land. And I get messages all the time that between me and the person sending me the message and Heavenly Father, I know exactly where that message came from, and I won't know what kind of confirmation it is. And I have received way too many confirmations to tell me that what I'm doing I'm not supposed to be at. No, what I'm doing I'm supposed to be doing. And so that said, my commitment is first and foremost to Heavenly Father, and then my second commitment would be to you guys. But the bottom line is this: the minute he tells me to stop, I'm stopping. The minute I'm done, I'm done. I kind of suspect that won't be much up to him only, as he knows each one of us super personally and intimately. So he knows what some of his children need. And for some reason, I'm kind of a tool in that. And that is one of the most humbling things to me, because at this stage in my life and where I'm at, I don't feel like a tool. I know to some people I am, but I don't feel like one, because even at 53, I feel like I'm learning and needing to learn so much. And I still am learning so much, because to be honest with you, I am learning some things that would take people perhaps years to learn in a really short time. I'm learning a lot of really profound and tremendous things in a really short time. And his hand is in my life to make sure that I have the right tools around me, the right people around me, to make sure I learn what I need to learn, to be a better daughter for him, to be a better human being and a better woman. And so that said, that is the reason for today's feed. Okay, I'm going to share a couple of other thoughts that I think he's planted in my head. Let me go back. So before I do, listen, remember I warned you at the beginning of this feed, it is going to be of a spiritual nature. Okay, so before I do every single feed, I kneel at my bed in a prayer and I ask him, what do you want me to share today? Prior to me even asking him, though, he'll start to put some ideas in my head, and just to make sure that I'm on the right path, I have that prayer and I ask him, what do you want me to share? I'll share what you want me to share, because I can't even make up something good enough that you could bless me with. And so before every feed, people, I will have that prayer, every single feed, and then after the feed too, to thank him for helping me to do this, because as you all know, this is nothing that I would ever desire for myself. Even the play stuff. The play stuff it's fun for me, you know, the singing and playing with my niece and my nephew, and those ones, they're fun, but I would never do that on the front of a camera or record it. I don't like any of that. Anyways, that said, let me go to this sweet conversation I had about 2 days ago with my cousin Netta and his beautiful wife Lofi. They live in Australia, and Netta belongs to my uncle, my dad's brother. So he's my first cousin. And if I ever had a son, I would have loved to name him after my favorite cousin. He's one of my favorite cousins. His name is Niheta, or Netta for short. Anyways, they reached out to me on Messenger and wanted my phone number, and then they called me right after I sent it to them. We had this, I love you, Pua. I do. We had this really sweet conversation, and they asked me why I was doing what I'm doing, and I shared it with them. And I'm thinking that was the seed that planted in me that I needed to share this with you folks. So that's where that came from, and I want to thank Netta and Lofi for their love and support, and I love it. And here's the little thing that Netta said to me. Okay, the minute you start to get big head, we're going to be here to humble you. And I would expect any of you out there who know me, anyone, if that should ever happen, and I pray it doesn't, please tell me on any level. Tell me. I kind of suspect it won't, because like I told you, this is nothing that I would carve out for myself. But I like to think that Heavenly Father would let me know before anybody had to actually say something. Anyways, yeah, it's a really big emotional thing for me, because I feel like I live way out of my box these days, and there's not a lot of places of comfort for me because of how out of the box I have somewhat become. You know, for those of you who know me, could I get any more out of the box? Yeah, you'd be surprised. But yeah, I can get way more out of that box and have. Okay. So the other things that I want to share with you today, really short and really super sweet and beautiful. So that's my, I guess, the big part of my message. We're morphing now into smaller things, lighter things. Somebody might need them. Okay, so the next part that I wanted to share with you is the word remember. I grew up with President Kimball. I adore that man. The word remember was taught to me and us that it is, listen carefully, the single most important word in the English language. The word remember. Why? Let me share with you why. Because when we remember, we give ourselves a pause to make the best decision possible. Remember the decisions? With agency, we have good, better, best. We also, when it comes down to the bare minimum, good or bad, okay. But most of our decisions are based on good, better, and best. That said, when you remember, you give yourself the pause to make the best decision in that situation when you remember. The second part that I wanted to share with you today is this question. It's a simple question that I'm going to ask all of you. It's something I ask myself all the time. Why do you do what you do? Why do you do what you do? Yep. Why do you do what you do? The answer to that question will be radiated through your character. Whoever you are, it doesn't matter. It does not matter, and I love you guys so much. But the answer to that question is radiated through your character. This is why I want to talk about my eternal sister, Kawi. Let's pray. I hope I don't cry with this one either. Anyways, Kawi and her family, I have a beautiful 2-story house that my dad built for me, and I get to share it with 3 families. Myself, my angel sister, Lehu, and her children, and Kawi and her family, Kawi, McKenna, and their family. That said, and we're talking about the question, why do you do what you do? As I watch Kawi, and my life has been blessed with her, I kid her around, and I'll tell her I love her, and I'll kiss her face off and hug her, and then I'll repeat back to her, but I really hate you, right? And if she was here, she'd be like, that's right, because I do, because she should. Anyways, this woman who is 10 years younger than me, she's a beast. She's a monster beast, and she's amazing on every single level. This woman is amazing. I will not talk too much about her because I will start to cry. She is one of the names that I individually thank Heavenly Father for every single prayer I offer. She's one. There's a few of those very personal and names that I give to him. She's one of them. She's also my boss at work at the hotel. Can you imagine that? She's my landlord upstairs. She's my boss at the hotel at work. And unfortunately for her demise, she's attached to me eternally. So that said, this woman's character, she doesn't have to say a word, not a word. And even just being in her presence, you know what kind of person she is. I hope to one day be that kind of person where just somebody standing next to me is going to know because I'm radiating something of good, of love. I wish all of you could know this woman and at least work alongside her. She's a crazy beast. I adore her. I admire her. I love her. I will never be like her one day. I highly doubt it. But I am eternally grateful that she is in my life every single second of the day. Sometimes I wish she wasn't. That's true. But I'm grateful that she's there. Okay, folks, it's been long enough. That said, this feed is going to be done. Okay, so a little bit of reflection. I'm not giving you a challenge today. You already have 4 ongoing challenges. The first one is to pray for a miracle. The second one, to give some kind of service every day of your life, small or big, it matters not. The third, elevate your health and wellness. Do something for yourself physically a little bit more better than you did yesterday. And the last one is to exercise your faith and do it. Me and my big mouth. That said, people, anything you need to share with me, shoot it out. Whether it's in a comment, in a personal message, some of you, most of you have my cell phone number on my phone, it doesn't matter. Just give me the feedback, because as you can see, it's part of my huge journey of love and life, and they really are confirmations that bless pretty much everything that I'm doing. I love you folks. I love you tremendously, and thank you for even watching today. You each take care and have a super, super beautiful evening tonight. I love each one of you. See you on Wednesday, and stay tuned.